Hey everybody, so today we are going to be talking about what is a golden set or a golden data set and why is this so important to not just AI where you normally see this stuff show up, but also in the semantic and graph space, to assess, and this is what the golden data set is, to assess how well the AI did, you need to have either something for it to learn from, sort of like a zero shot kind of learning exercise, where you say, hey, this is a good example of it. And before generative AI, just regular old machine learning, that's kind of, it was a training set, right? Like that's what you trained the AI on when it was just, rule-based, non-generative stuff. And you can still do some of that, but the AI isn't learning from it per se in the same way that it would have from before. So when we get into this project, you have to know what is the definition of good. And this is the point of the video. Why a golden set, which is an example of the golden, the best example for the AI either to use as an example. If you're using old school machine learning, use as a training set, or to check its work against, or for you to check its work against. And this is so important because if you don't have a good baseline, if you say, okay, well, we can just go and use any of the materials that we have where this information was generated by humans. Well, humans are also not infallible, right? So we make mistakes, especially when you are using human folks to do classification. There's lots of different ways to classify something, and not all of them are right, but not all of them are wrong either. So there's a lot of different ways that we can describe this. So here's an example. Is this thing shrimp and farming? So is it about shrimp and farming? Or is it about shrimp farming as one word? You can have all of those things in a taxonomy or the knowledge graph that you are using. So this is the thing, you have to understand what is the definition of good. So going through and finding the best example or enough variation of the example for your AI to have a fighting chance. Because if you're trying to emulate something that a human is doing, humans are diverse. Humans have different opinions. We are not statistical engines like an AI is. So being able to say, well, according to our data governance or according to the rules laid out in our ontology, right? So which of these things is going to be more likely according to the rules that we have, whether those are data governance rules or, semantic relation type of rules that you would get from a knowledge graph. Again, like a semantic knowledge graph that is used for aboutness sort of thing. So not a knowledge graph for supply chain or something like that. Although those also have aboutness in them, but those are different types of graphs. Or if you are using this from a generative perspective, you have a good example for testing, did the AI get the right answer compared to what we deem as the most, the best example, which is the golden set. But generally you need at least 35 to get some kind of confidence. And you need it to be, accurately represented across the corpus of stuff you're looking at, so that you don't have 100 examples in one and only 35 in another. So you kind of want to look at it from a balanced perspective. Now, this is a golden data set. So it doesn't always have to be an example. It could be the things that you're going to test against that you don't have an answer to yet. So normally a golden data set is kind of like a question answer pairing, but you don't always have that. So a good example of this case is a golden query set. So I talk about this a lot, obviously, in search applications. But honestly, the same can be said for anything that you're doing with a chatbot, because while they're not queries, they are prompts, and chances are you are going to be asking a lot of the same kinds of questions of the chatbot for whatever you're trying to do, whether it's an internal chatbot you've developed or one of the LLMs on the market. If you don't have a golden data set, you can create one. You can create a synthetic golden data set. Now, it's not going to be super accurate because that's not real world scenarios, but if you need something because you don't have anything yet, like a good example is if you are creating a golden set to measure an AI chatbot that you created, but you don't have an AI chatbot yet, what are you measuring against? You don't have any chats for it to measure against. So that's where you could create a synthetic data set using at least some basic information. So let's say you have search log data. Throw that into an AI, have it generate, prompts or queries out of those search logs that you want it to look at, and then that could be your synthetic data set. Once you get real data, definitely use real data. So when you have a golden query set or a golden prompt set, it is usually generated from your search logs or from the things that people are asking of the chatbot. And so those usually are called a golden query set because those are the most important queries or prompts for your organization to test how well did the AI do with those specifically. Now, when you're coming to the LLM space, having the same answer come back is almost not possible, right? Because it's non-deterministic. So that's why these can't necessarily be a golden data set where you have a question answer pairing because you don't actually have the same answer, but you do have enough examples of a good answer to come up with a similarity score or to understand, well, these items are being retrieved or these entities are being retrieved or these rules from the knowledge graph are being used to get to the answer, right? So there's a lot of graph databases now that are trying to allow that determinism of answers to show up in the AI responses. These are the ways that you can then check, did the AI do a good job, even though you don't have the golden answer set. You have a golden set of acceptable semantic thresholds, or you have in your graph, it can only be one hop out, or it has to be part of the same cluster in a network, or it has to use these types of rules when it is generating its response, either from data governance or from a knowledge graph. So these are the things that kind of show up in a golden set. Now, when you are going in to then assess what the AI did, you need to look at that golden set and assess, did it get the right answer when it does have a golden set that is a question answer pairing? So this entity, I know exactly which ID this entity is. Did my AI get the right entity? It's a yes or no question, right? But then when you get into the more semantic side of things, like with the question answer pairing where the answer isn't necessarily an exact answer, it's more of like a semantic similarity, rule based, whatever it might be. That's where you have to use another similarity score to understand, did I meet the threshold of similarity for this to be acceptable? This happens all the time in like auto classification systems where you don't necessarily want to get the exact same answer as a human would, because again, if you put three humans together, there are studies on this. Three humans will not agree on the same classification of anything. They will be in the realm of the same, and that's where you get semantic similarity, but it's not always going to be exactly the same. So you're going to have to use similar approaches, especially if you're doing something with a chatbot where did you get the right entities back? Okay, you can test that. Did you get the right materials back in that answer if you're using something with RAG or citations? Okay, cool. You can say yes or no on that. But then like the rest of the generative part, you're going to have to do a semantic similarity on that compared to your golden set, because they're always going to be slightly different because it's generating a response from a statistical model. So that's how you would use a golden set to actually test if the AI is doing well. Now, the last piece of the cake here is you have to have a threshold that you agree to or you determine if you're doing just research, but usually you have to talk to your business partners and say, okay, what degree of confidence do we need for this? If it's a did you get the right entity, probably needs to be accurate. Did you get the right one or not? I don't know. Or you have to have confidence if it's, there's some ambiguity is allowed, or you just know there's a lot of ambiguity in the data. So there's no way you can always get 100%. So you can say something like, well, in my set, I need to get at least 80% of all of the entities need to be resolved within 95% confidence. Something like that. So those are the type of metrics that you would be looking at. And usually that is what risk are you willing to accept if it got it wrong? Because, if it's a low confidence, it's probably going to be accurate. So you have to understand what level of confidence and how much of the data set that you are throwing at this model, or when you're generating and creating a model, what's the measure of success to say this model is working so that you can put it into production? Those confidence levels can also use your knowledge graph. So that's where, semantic similarity. Yeah, you can do like a cosine similarity. You can do vector similarity. There's a lot of ways to calculate similarity, but all of those are still like very wordy based. When you have a knowledge graph, you have a network of those words. And you have put those words into a network that abides by whatever rules and logic you need it to follow. So using a knowledge graph where you can say, if these two entities are within one hop of each other, or they're in the same semantic network, whatever it might be, or the words that are being used in this response all are within the same semantic network, or there's the same domain, whatever it might be from your knowledge graph. Your knowledge graph actually can add a lot of context to doing entity resolution and also giving you confidence on whatever it is that your AI is generating. So you can say, it got the right answer, and we have this data to back up that it got the right answer. So you can use it as evidence to say, hey, AI, when you're looking at entity resolution, if there are two entities that seem to be a good match, but one is in the wrong domain according to our knowledge graph, based on the context that was provided in the prompt, probably not the right one. So you can use it for evidence for your AI to pick a good winner when it's doing entity resolution. Or you can use it to say hey, these are semantically accurate because based on the context of our organization, these things always show up together within our graph, right? So you can use it before and you can use it after when you're doing some of this AI stuff. Okay, so those are all the things about what golden sets kind of do. They're usually a set of either a list of queries or prompts. You usually want to tag them up with some kind of logic, whether it's these are all prompts that we would expect a document to come back for, or a prompt where we would expect it to do X, Y, and Z, generate code, give an answer with deterministic rules, whatever it might be. So you always want to have some kind of classification on a flat list of data points, or in this case, prompts and queries. And you want those to correspond to what you're having the AI do, so you can connect the AI's response to the golden set, the part of the golden set that it's going to be tested against. Now, when you're creating a set of records or documents or assets like images or responses from chatbots that you want to say these are a golden set, those are probably all going to show up as individual documents or records, so that when your AI is looking through all of it, it doesn't have like this large laundry list of things to look at. It's like, nope, that's the one that I am testing against. Did it show up correctly or not? And you, who are doing that assessment, can point the AI or the assessment, you know, like whether you're using some kind of similarity or whatever it is, you can point to the correct record or the correct node or the correct subset of your graph that this should be measured against. Okay, so I know that was a lot. If you already know what golden data sets are, I'm so happy for you. If you didn't know that's what these were called, now you know. And if you do know a lot about these, you know, leave a comment below. What are you? How do you describe these? How do you usually create these? Okay, so with that, I want to thank you very much. I hope this video has been helpful, and I'll catch you next time.